Hello? Okay. Okay.
In the midst of the
आयज ह्या आझाद मैदानात सगळ्या जमिल्ल्या गोंयच्या भाव भयणांक आनी तशेंच आमचे देशाच्या भाव भयणांक जे कोणी ज्यांच्या हड्ड्यान धगधग आसा देशा बद्दल शांतकाय कायदो आनी संवस्थाय आमच्या देशांत जाय अशे भावनान आज आमी हांगा एकठांय जाल्या मणिपुराक हिंसा जळप मारप बलात्कार बेकायदेशीर सगळे मोडतोड जाता आनी त्याचे न्याय आमकां जाय त्या खातीर आमी हांगा आयिल्ले आसात. हांव एक विनंती करता आमी एक दोन तुमकां तुमच्यो भावना म्हज्या बरोबर जमता जाल्यार तुमी म्हज्या बरोबर म्हणचे. इफ यू sympathize and empathize and if your heart is moved by the atrocities that are happening in some parts of our country, especially in Manipur at the moment for past several months, we are gathered here to condemn the lawlessness and ask for justice and peace to prevail, not only in Manipur but also other parts of the country. But presently it has not happened for so many months. That's why we are anguished, and I take it that you will join me in this anguished cry so the powers that be may hear us and grant us our constitutional right to coexist peacefully. बंद करा रे बंद करा
महिलांचे अत्याचार बंद करा.
बंद करा रे बंद करा बायलांचेर अत्याचार बंद करा. Okay, so I will बंद करा, you all will say बायलांचेर अत्याचार बंद करा. बंद करा रे बंद करा बायलांचे अत्याचार बंद करा. बंद करा रे बंद करा बायलांचे अत्याचार बंद करा. We demand justice. We demand justice. We want justice. We want justice. We want justice in Manipur. In Manipur. We want justice in Manipur. We want justice in Manipur. We want peace in Manipur. We want peace in Manipur. आमकां जाय आमकां जाय आमकां जाय मणिपुराक शांती जाय. मणिपुराक शांती जाय. आमकां जाय आमकां जाय मणिपुराक शांती जाय. आमकां नाका आमकां नाका आमकां नाका कितें नाका हिंसा नाका. मणिपुरात हिंसा नाका. आमकां नाका आमकां नाका मणिपुरात हिंसा नाका. आमकां नाका आमकां नाका मणिपुरात हिंसा नाका. आमकां जाय मणिपुरात शांती जाय. आमकां जाय मणिपुरात शांती जाय. We want justice. We want justice. We want justice.
Ask them to raise their fist when they say we want justice.
Okay, one last time. Put all your might in your little fist and give the punch to where it should go. We want justice. We want justice. We want justice. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
आयज मणिपुरात इतली हिंसा जाल्या आणि आयज जशें हांवें म्हणलां आमी इंडिपेंडन्स डे सेलिब्रेट करता. आमकां ह्या हिंसांतल्यान मुक्ती जाय. आमचे मदें प्रज्ञा आसा ताजो जन्म 15 ऑगस्टाक जाला आणि ते आमचे मुखार मांडटले मुक्ती कशें ते कितें जाय. ह्या प्रोग्रामान आमचे कडेन पोएट्री सॉंग आणि आमची भाशणान आमी हे आमचे कितें विचार आसा ते आमी तुमच्या फुड्यान दवरतले.
Hello everybody, thank you for showing up today. There's a lot happening in our country right now that's very disturbing. Manipur is just the tip of the iceberg, but we are very grateful these amazing individuals standing behind me have organized something really powerful, and your presence here is making it even more powerful. During times like these, not just on social media but also in public spaces, people are often asked to express their opinion, that we must say something, that we must do something. So I want to share a poem I wrote with you all, and it's called Say Something. What can I say about country? When she was 10 years old, my nani killed a man. She'll tell you it isn't true, but I've learned that truth travels quiet, trickles down generations with the lightness of lithium. Truth is a parallel family tree, a branching of tongues so bold, don't need to be heard to be remembered. What can I say about freedom? I was born on August 15th. Salman Rushdie convinced me that I was one of Midnight's children, that I shared an umbilical cord with the country I was born in. I cannot leave, even if I wanted to. Even if betrayal bubbles to the surface every 5 years. Leaving isn't a solution. Leaving is looking away. I am unable to look away. Freedom is the child that cries at midnight because the sky is burning, and her mother holds her, feeds her, says, "You're safe now, my starry-eyed dollop of sunshine," says, "In this country, the world will be better when you are a woman," says, "In this country, a name is predator or prey, and today your name has power." What can I say about body? If there's one lesson I've learned from history, it's that history is not a teacher. This body is a list. How to dilute desire, how to sit and smile and rage, how to absorb pain. History is a woman's body. Divine and dirty, war and weapon, border and flag, all the things all at once. On August 15, 1947, my grandmother was 10 years old. She walked across an invisible line, traveled in trucks that bounced over bodies. Maybe she killed a man. These bodies built a nest in this girl's chest. These bodies never left. These bodies are my prisoners now. Or maybe it's the other way around. What can I say about death? My Instagram has gone from Barbieheimer to women paraded naked, dismantled until marrow leaks from their bones. According to Wikipedia, more than 100 riots have occurred in India since August 15, 1947. Perpetrator unknown, number of wounded unknown, number of deaths unknown. Unknown is gentle, like ash, a settling sediment that is gradual and lovely and light. Death is not gradual or lovely or light. Death is not a poem or a slogan or a protest. Death is the answer to questions that don't have answers. What is the cost of a single breath? How much sacrifice does it take to pledge allegiance? How many bodies must be looted and pillaged and burnt and buried for a garden to become a graveyard?
You have echoed our emotions, Pragya, and this is not the freedom that we want. Dead bodies everywhere. We got freedom so that we could live without fear. I now call upon Ninoshka. We have here very young people to express their concerns We have heard politicians, we have heard religious people, we have heard a whole lot of people. But what do the young people want is what Ninoshka will echo.
When we were living with my grandmother, who was on a wheelchair, we had a caretaker with us. She was 19 years old. She asked me for a holiday for 1 week to go home for her brother's wedding. She went. She came back in 2 days to tell me that the wedding had been postponed because the brother had raped the neighbor's daughter, so they were going to have the wedding next month. So I said, I'm sorry, what? Your brother did what? And she told me, brother raped the neighbor's daughter, so the wedding has been postponed to next month. And I said, and what happened to your brother? She said, he's at home. He's fine, don't worry. I said, I'm not worried about him. Rape is so normal. The wedding was postponed. This rape was still going to marry this young girl who was probably 15 years old and didn't even know the beginning of rape. I'm shaking. I'm shaking because when I was in school, we heard the first words of rape. I went home and I asked my mother, what is rape? And she said, we don't talk about things like this. But today you cannot not talk about things like this. And I'm here to stand before you as a young social activist. Look at Malala Yousafzai fighting for education in Pakistan. Look at Greta Thunberg fighting for environmental justice across the world. The favorite threat is, you will be raped. Stop fighting, you will be raped. Stop arguing, you will be raped. Please, let's move this time. Continue. Sorry, it's echoing. Young social activists like Malala, Greta Thunberg and myself, when you reach a certain level, when you're trying to change the way society works, rape is their favorite threat. They expect us to cower down. They expect us to shake in fear. They expect us to be scared at the thought of rape. My dear friends, rape is as good as a slap on our faces today. That's how often it happens. That's how common it happens. We hear of rape every week, every day. Every week there's a rapist being caught. Every day there are rapes happening which are not even going announced. How many rapists have walked free? How many rapists have been let go from jails with garlands being put on them? We are so used to it. We are so used to it that we say, come on. But the people of Manipur have experienced this firsthand. Ladies and gentlemen over here, think of your mothers, your sisters and your daughters. Think of them being stripped naked right here at this spot. Think of them being stripped naked. Think of them being beaten up and violently abused. The people of Manipur have been used and abused. Do you know traditionally when there was a war, when there was a fight, the men went to fight. The women were at home because they were protected, because they were treasured, because we were valued. Today the women are being used as pawns in a game that we don't even understand. We have heard so many rumors. Is it about the land? Is it about the gold? Is it about culture? Is it about ethnicity? We don't know, and the women who are being raped certainly do not care. Modern India has normalized rape to such an extent. We are being used and abused. Modern India, we have failed the women of our time. Thank you.
आणि हे जे रेप आता नॉर्मल जाला ते आम्ही खंय तरी बंद करपाक जाय. शशिकला आसा हांगा? शशिकला आमचे बाय म्हापशेचे आणि ती ती आमची नुस्तेकारां बायलांचे लिडरशीप करता आणि दिसान दीस बायलांचेर अत्याचार जाता ते पळयता. म्हापशा पयर एकटे चलयेक जेन्ना वडून व्हेल्ले तेन्ना शशिकलान फोन केलो आमकां, आमी कितें तरी करुया ते चलयेक ही रस्त्यार व्हडून व्हरता आनी आमी सगळे लोक अशे वगी रावन पळयता. ताज्या तोंडांतल्यान आमी आयकलां.
मॅडम मातशी फुडें येता, फुडें यो.
माईक लागीं जाऊ.
हांगर जमलेले आमचे भावांनी आनी भयणांनी तेन्ना अहे पळय बलात्कार जाता, रेपी जाता त्यो जावंक जायना. हेजेर कितें तरी आमी सोल्युशन काडूंक जाय. हे बलात्कार जाता पळय तेजेर तेन्ना हांव जालें म्हणटकूच तांकां व्हरोन जेलीन उडयता. जेलीन उडयता रोखडेच तांकां सोडयता. तशें जावंक जायना. तांकां कितें तरी शिक्षा मेळोंक जायी पानिशमेंट. तेन्नाच ते अहे रेपी जावचे ना मागीर. ना ही 2 उतरां सांगून हांव म्हाजें कबार करता.
देव बरें करूं शशिकला. आनी बलात्कार जे जाता ते एका चलयेचेर जाता, केन्ना ग्रुप बलात्कार जाता, केन्ना गँग रेप जाता. आनी ह्या विशीं एक पॉयटी तर्फेन तुमच्या मुखार दिप्ती फुडें येता आपले विचार मांडपाक. दिप्ती. दीप्ति
थैंक यू सबीना. आवाज़ आ रही है साहब? तो मैं एक कविता रिसाइट करने जा रही हूँ, सुनाने जा रही हूँ. और ये कविता हिंदी की जानी मानी लेखिका हैं, कवयित्री हैं, मीन्स पोएट हैं और सामाजिक सांस्कृतिक कार्यकर्ता भी हैं और महिला आंदोलनों में उन्होंने बहुत भागीदारी की है. तो इस कविता का शीर्षक मतलब टाइटल गैंग रेप है. कविता हिंदी में है. उम्मीद है आप सबको समझ में आएगी और मैं आप सबको ये कम्युनिकेट कर पाऊंगी. लिंग का सामूहिक प्रदर्शन. लिंग का सामूहिक प्रदर्शन जिसे हम गैंग रेप कहते हैं. लिंग का सामूहिक प्रदर्शन जिसे हम गैंग रेप कहते हैं बकायदा टीम बनाकर टीम भावना के साथ अंजाम दिया जाता है. एकांत में स्त्री के साथ जोर जबरदस्ती. एकांत में स्त्री के साथ जोर जबरदस्ती तो खैर सभ्यता हिस्सा रही है. युद्धों और दुश्मनियों के संदर्भ में भी बलात्कार हथियार के तौर पर इस्तेमाल किया जाता रहा है. मगर ये नई बात है. लगभग बिना बात लिंग का हिंसक प्रदर्शन. लिंगधारी जब उठते बैठते हैं तो भी ऐसा लगता है जैसे वे अपने लिंग का प्रदर्शन कर रहे हों. खुजली जैसे बहानों के साथ वे ऐसा व्यापक पैमाने पर करते हैं. माँ बहन की गालियां देते हुए भी वे लिंग पर इतरा रहे होते हैं. आखिर लिंग को देखकर ही तो माता पिता थाली बजाने लगते हैं, दाइयां नाचने लगती हैं, लोग मिठाई के लिए मुंह फाड़े चले आते हैं. ये ज्यादा पुरानी बात नहीं. ये ज्यादा पुरानी बात नहीं जब फ्रायड महाशय ये ज्यादा पुरानी बात नहीं जब फ्रायड महाशय लिंग पर इतना मुग्ध हुए कि वे एक पेचीदा संरचना को समझ ही नहीं सके. कि वे एक पेचीदा संरचना को समझ ही ना सके. लिंग के रूप पर मुग्ध वे उसी तरह से नाचने लगे जैसे हमारी दाइयां नाचती हैं. पूंजी और सर्व सत्ताओं के मेल से परिमाण और ताकत में गठजोड़ हो गया. जाहिर है गुणवत्ता का मेल सत्ताविहीन और वंचित से होना था. जाहिर है गुणवत्ता का मेल सत्ताविहीन और वंचित से होना था। हमारे शास्त्र, पुराण, महान धार्मिक कर्मकांड, मनोविज्ञान, मिठाई और नाते रिश्तेदारों के योग से लिंग इस तरह से स्थापित हुआ जैसे सर्वशक्तिमान सृष्टिकर्ता, जैसे सर्वशक्तिमान सृष्टिकर्ता। आश्चर्य नहीं कि मां की स्तुतियां कई बार लिंग के यशोगान की तरह सुनाई पड़ती हैं। आश्चर्य नहीं, मां की स्तुतियां कई बार लिंग के यशोगान की तरह सुनाई पड़ती हैं। लिंग का हिंसक प्रदर्शन उस समय जरूरी हो जाता है। लिंग का हिंसक प्रदर्शन उस समय जरूरी हो जाता है जब लिंगधारी का प्रभाव मंडल ध्वस्त हो जाता है। जब लिंगधारी का प्रभाव मंडल ध्वस्त हो रहा है, योनि, गर्भाशय, अंडाशय, स्तन, दूध की ग्रंथियों और विवेक सम्मत शरीर के साथ गुणात्मक रूप से भिन्न, विवेक सम्मत शरीर के साथ गुणात्मक रूप से भिन्न, मतलब क्वांटिटिवली डिफरेंट, क्वालिटेटिवली डिफरेंट। विवेक सम्मत शरीर के साथ गुणात्मक रूप से भिन्न मनुष्य जब नागरिक समाज में प्रवेश करता है तो वो एक चुनौती है। जब वो नागरिक समाज में प्रवेश करता है तो वो एक चुनौती है। लिंग की आकृति पर मुग्ध विवेकहीन लिंगधारी सामूहिक रूप में अपना डगमगाता वर्चस्व जमाना चाहता है। विवेकहीन लिंगधारी सामूहिक रूप में अपना वर्चस्व जमाना चाहता है।
देवबरे गुरु दीप्ति ने हमें बता दिया है कि कैसे हम गैंग रेप को इस्तेमाल करते हैं और ये जो लिंग है उसकी हम सही करते हैं। तो हमें ये कहना है कि जो बलात्कार होता है वो बलात्कार एक एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ पावर है और ये हमें बंद करना चाहिए। और ये एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ पावर, और मणिपुर में ऐसा हुआ है कि सामूहिक कि हम एक पावर एक्सप्रेस करना चाहते हैं और ये जो बलात्कार हो रहा है ये हम महिला पर बलात्कार करके अपना सत्ता दिखा रहे हैं। तो ये बंद होना है। और हमने देखा है कि पहले तो हम एक रेप हुआ, फिर कहीं पे किसका एक गैंग रेप हुआ, उसके बारे में हम निंदा करते थे। अभी तो रेप को हथियार बना के हम वापर कर रहे हैं, उसको हमें अभी थामना है। और ये हमको बताने आ रही है डॉक्टर प्रमोद है, आप गई है इस डॉक्टर प्रमोद क्या? ओके, तो इस डॉक्टर प्रमोद क्या? Not Pramod Sawant, Dr. Pramod Sawant. She was the chairperson of the Women's Commission, chairperson. Okay. So she will be coming. She had said that she has an injury, but she would try to definitely make it. Okay. So और यही भावना कि हमको ये जो बलात्कार है उसको हमें थामना है। हमारे सामने आ रही है सीमा। सीमा कोई शायरी लेके आपके सामने प्रस्तुत करती है।
उर्दू में आज कुछ गुफ्तगू हो जाए, चलो आज नूर से रूबरू हो जाए। आदाब में हूँ सीमा उर्फ नूर और ये खूबसूरत ज़बान में सिखाती हूँ, इस खूबसूरत ज़बान से मैं मोहब्बत करती हूँ। मेरी खुशकिस्मती है कि आज यहाँ कोंकणी में बातें हो रही है, हिंदी में, अंग्रेज़ी में बातें हो रही है और अब उर्दू में भी। तो जैसे कि मैंने कहा, मैं एक शायरा हूँ और मेरा ये मानना है दैट आर्ट हैज़ एन इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल टू प्ले इन सोसाइटी, क्योंकि जब ज़ख्म पे मलहम चाहिए होता है तो आर्टिस्ट पहुँच जाते हैं। लेकिन इसी वजह से आर्टिस्ट का नाम काफ़ी बदनाम भी हो जाता है, काफ़ी थूथू होती है समाज में। तो एक छोटी सी शायरी ऐसे मिसफिट्स के लिए या आर्टिस्ट के लिए। दुनिया ने जिनको सर फिरा करार दिया, सर फिरा माने somebody who is crazy, somebody who is considered to be a rebel or a fanatic। दुनिया ने जिनको सर फिरा करार दिया, कायनात ने उनको फरिश्ता करार दिया, माने एंजल्स और मैसेंजर्स। दुनिया ने जिनको सर फिरा करार दिया, कायनात यूनिवर्स ने उनको फरिश्ता करार दिया। बढ़ने लगे जब गमे जिंदगी के रोग, when the sorrows of the world started to increase, बढ़ने लगे जब गमे जिंदगी के रोग, सरफिरों ने आके माहौल सुधार दिया। जो भी आज हो रहा है हमारे देश में, इट्स एक्सट्रीमली सैडनिंग एंड आई थिंक वन ऑफ द पर्पसेस ऑफ आर्ट इज टू, in the painting on the poster, is to remind us of our core values of just being a human being and of sensitivity and empathy। शकील आज़मी के कुछ अल्फाज पढ़ना चाहूंगी मैं, इजाजत हो तो। खुद को इतना मत बचाया कर, खुद को इतना मत बचाया कर, बारिशें हो तो भी चांद लाकर नहीं देगा कोई, चांद लाकर नहीं देगा कोई, अपने चेहरे से जगमगाया कर। धूप मायूस लौट जाती है, धूप मायूस लौट जाती है, the sun is sad, it's just going away sad। धूप मायूस लौट जाती है, छत पे कपड़े सुखाने आया कर। कौन कहता है दिल मिलाने को, कौन कहता है दिल मिलाने को, कौन कहता है दिल मिलाने को, कम से कम हाथ तो मिलाया कर। Gopal Das Neeraj has written a beautiful poem for a call to empathy। अब तो मजहब कोई ऐसा चलाया जाए, मजहब माने रिलीजन, अब तो मजहब कोई ऐसा चलाया जाए जहां इंसान को इंसान बनाया जाए, जिसकी खुशबू से महक जाए पड़ोसी का घर भी, फूल कोई ऐसा हर दिशा में खिलाया जाए। आग बहती है यहाँ गंगा में, झेलम में भी, आग बहती है यहाँ, आग बहती है यहाँ गंगा में, झेलम में भी, कोई बतलाए कहां जाके नहाया जाए। प्यार का खून हुआ है क्यों आजकल, प्यार का खून क्यों हुआ है आजकल, हर अंधेरे को उजाले में बुलाकर समझाया जाए। मेरे दुख दर्द का तुझ पर हो असर कुछ ऐसा, कि मैं रहूं भूखा तो तुझसे भी ना खाना खाया जाए। जिस्म दो हो, जिस्म दो हो लेकिन दिल हो एक, मेरे आंसू तेरी आंखों से पोंछे जाए। गीत उदास है, गजल चुप है, रुबाई दुखी है, रुबाई माने इट्स अ टाइप ऑफ पोएम। गीत उदास है, गजल चुप है, रुबाई दुखी है, ऐसे माहौल में गोवा को बुलाया जाए। शुक्रिया, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपके वक्त का और इन सभी का जिन्होंने ये ऑर्गेनाइज किया है टू शो आवर सॉलिडारिटी विद आवर फेलो सिटीजंस। बहुत शुक्रिया।
Yes, thank you, Seema. Or every time people tell us Goa is the hope, Goa is the beacon of peace, And this is the message that we need to take across the country. So today while we are here, while we condemn the violence, we are also here to promote peace. And this is the message of peace that we would like to take across, not only in Goa, but across the country. So we have a lot of people from different states, besides joining hands with people of Goa to be the beacon of hope to bring peace in Manipur. खूप जण म्हाका विचारता की Goa is a beacon of peace and hope. We don't propagate hate, we propagate love. So हांवें मागीर म्हणलें की हांव तें कोंकणीन सांगतलें. हेट कोंकणीन कितें म्हणटा? हांवें खूब जाणांक कित्याक तो हेट शब्द आमच्या वोकॅब्युलरींत ना. आमी कितें म्हणपाचें आतां? हेट तुमी सांगा. म्हाज्या कोंकणी टिचरी कडेन विचारलें, मागीर वचून गुगल केलें कित्याक म्हाका तें कोंकणीन सांगपाक जाय आसलें. आनी तेणी म्हणलें ताका द्वेष वा तिरस्कार हो शब्द वापरता. सो हांवें म्हणलें हांवें हो शब्द केन्ना आमी कोंकणी उलयता, कडेन उलयता, आमकां केन्ना पाळी येवंक ना हो शब्द वापरपाक. तिरस्कार करा, अध्वस्त करा. आमी फक्त मोगाचीच भाशा उलयता, शांतीचीच भाशा उलयता. आनी म्हणून हांव म्हणटा गोंय जें आसा, संस्काराचें गोंय आसा, तें आमी दुसऱ्या राज्यां कडेन आमची जी संस्कार आसा, शांती जी आसा, ती आमी सगळ्या कडेन पावोवपाक जाय. आनी जेन्ना शांती भंग जाता, ओके, ते आमचे भुरग्यां बाळाचेर आनी आमच्या जिवनाचेर, आमच्या बिझनसाचेर, सगळे आमचे सोशल लायफाचेर खूब परिणाम जातात. आमचे मुखार आसा रशिदा मुजावर, ते तुमकां दोन शब्द सांगता.
वॉयस रिना मार्टिना सांगला गोंयकार पळय आसा, आमी केन्ना सांगा तुमकां सगळ्यांक गोंयकार जे आसा पळय तांकां सगळ्यांक खबर आसा, आमी केन्ना झगडी करना कोणा कडेन. सगळी मेळून करून आसा. आनी आमी सगळ्यांक हें लेसन दिता की सगळीं जाणांनी मेळून करून रावपाचें म्हणून. आज आमकां खूब दूख जाता सांगपाक. मणिपुराचेर चल्ला, बायलांचेर अत्याचार जाता, असो पळय अत्याचार केन्नाच आमी आयकूंक ना. अशें आमी केन्ना पिक्चरान पासून दाखोवंक ना की अशें आनी बायलांचेर घडटा म्हणून. मणिपुराचे जे बायलांक जो त्रास जाला ते आमकां खूबच त्रास जाला. सगळ्या आमच्या गोंयच्यांनी सबंद वर्ल्डाक सांगपाचें की सबंद वर्ल्डाचे पळय बायलां आसा पळय तांकां खूब त्रास जाला. बायलांकूच न्ही, दादल्यांकूय जाला. हे पळय असले पळय मणिपुरा तांचे पळय बायलो जंगलांनी रावता, भुरगीं तांची जंगलांनी रावता. आनी डेलिव्हरी तांची कोणा कोणाची जंगलांनी जाला. हे पळोवपाक आयकुपाक खूब त्रास जाता आमकां. कांयच फुट्टा सारकें. हे पळय जेन्ना पळयता आमी ते अशें दिसता की अशें हे गव्हर्मेंट पळय आमचो आसा कसो उबी रावलो, कसो ताका शांती आसा तेजेर मनाक कांयच कळना की गव्हर्मेंट कित्याक उबी रावला तो. आनी तो आमचो CM पळय आसा, तेंचो CM मणिपूरचो, ताका हें कांयच दिसना. ताका फॅमिली ना काय, ताका बायल भुरगीं ना काय, चलयो ना काय. सॉरी बरें दिसना चलयांचेर सांगपाक, म्हणल्यार सांगचें पडटा की खास ती बायलो त्रास काडटा काय ते आमकां आयकून कितें जाता सारकें. आनी ते कशें त्रास काडटा आसतले ते भुरगीं पळय आसा तांचे कॉलेजी ना, जंगलांनी भोंवता ते भुरगीं, ताचो फ्युचर कितें त्या भुरग्याचो, कितें चिंतला त्या गव्हर्मेंटान, कितें चिंतला. आमी निशेध करता सगळ्याचो आनी जाता तितले बेगीन हें तेंचो एक करपाचें, तांकां फ्रिडम दिवपाची आनी जस्टीस दिवपाचें तांकां. आनी चड दीस काडपाचें म्हणून आमी रिक्वेस्ट करता गव्हर्मेंटा कडेन. कित्याक गव्हर्मेंट कित्याक न्हिदला कांयच कळना आमकां. तो CMाक आजून पासून कित्याक थंय दवरला तें कळना. इतलेंच हांव सांगलां म्हजें 2 शब्द.
देव बरें करूं रशिदा. Yes, the state administration has completely collapsed. Okay? Ki law and order has completely collapsed. लोक आर्मां घेता आनी लोकांक शूट करता. हे कितें लॉ एंड ऑर्डर? स्टेट अग्री आसा थंय खूब सेक्युरिटी आसपाक जाय आमी आमचे आर्म सांबाळूंक जायना आनी ह्या लोकांमध्ये जी शांती आसा अशे डायलॉग करपाक कित्याक जायना आमी आर्मां घेवनूच कित्याक झगडपाक जाय आमी डिस्कशन टेबलाचेर येवन आमचे प्रश्न कित्याक आमी मांडनात अशें आमी पळयतात जेन्ना जेन्ना जमनीचो प्रश्न आसता ओके पयशे चोरपाचो आसता तेन्ना लोकांक डिवायड करता आनी जात कात धर्म सगळे भाशेचे आमी फुडें काडटा आनी ही फूट आमी लोकां मदें घालता कित्याक घालता कित्याक तांकां जमन्यो हडपपाचे रानां हडपपाचे आमचे नॅचरल रिसोर्स आसा ते हडपपाचे सो हे सायडीन चालू आसता आनी आमी फकत चर्चा करता कोणे कोणाक मारलो आमचे कोणाचे रेप जाले आनी कितले दुखी आसा आनी इंडिया आमचे जे सगळे रिसोर्सीस आसा ते सगळे चोरून वता आनी आमी सादर रावपाक जाय आनी जेन्ना जेन्ना अशे आमचे मदें फूट घालपाची जेन्ना प्रयत्न आसता एका दुसऱ्या गटा कडेन झगडटा एकटी जात दुसरी जाती कडेन झगडटा एक धर्म दुसरे धर्मा कडेन झगडटा तेन्ना आमचो फायदो नासता तितून आनी कोणाचो फायदो आसता आनी आमचे जे गरीब लोक आसा ते गरीबूच उरता आनी दुखान रावता सो हे आमी सादर रावपाक जाय आतां आमचे मुखार पारूल येतले पारूल एक आर्टिस्ट हो जो आमचो बॅनर आसा मणिपुराचो ते पारुलान केला आनी ते आपले विचार व्यक्त करतले
I'm extremely nervous. Truth be told, I don't actually want to be here. I don't want to do this. I'm not equipped to do this. I moved from Bombay to Goa in late 2020. I consult with businesses and I flirt with paints and music when I'm bored. So I actually want to talk about those things first. The thing is that when I moved here mid-pandemic, I experienced a lot of fear and dismay at the prospect of an incoming brutal second wave. I used my words, raised a question about a possible citizen action group, and then I could join one, and suddenly I was smack in the middle of a relief and rehabilitation citizen enterprise. There were 60 to 80 volunteers. All of us, we were composed of a few locals, a lot of locals and a few outsiders. So we are part of the settler community, as they call it. Together within a few days we went from Excel sheets to an exhaustive resource website. We had an emergency group for beds and equipment. We had delivery and hospital aid, human resources. We raised over 30 lakhs and then some in funds. We sourced OCs from states across the country to supply to the local vados and panchayats. We monitored requirements and sounded alarms in government hospitals. And we even filed a petition against the state government of Goa when it needed to be done. We even were on television for it. And this was just a bunch of people. It was like this. It was messy. There was no rain. Then, of course, we were sitting at home. But it was like this. There are a few people who've turned up. I can see friends and family, including my parents, are here. They've braved the rain. These two girls, my friends, who are standing with me, we literally talked about it 3 days ago. I didn't know these women, Sabina, Patricia, Zarina, Manisha, a lot of them until a week ago. We just came here together. We met twice. Even in that time in planning this meeting, we fought. We had frustrations. We turned on each other. But we have to persevere beyond that. And, it cannot stop with, feeling a sense of defeat and thinking these are repeating cycles of fear and dismay. I fought my fear and dismay and my deep-seated fear of public speaking to be here. This is, like I said, not my scene. I'm trying to keep it together and not burst into tears. I want to now hark to my art. What you can see here, it pains me to think, that I started painting this piece in March. At the time, none of us knew what was happening in Manipur. So it's almost like I willed this into reality. These are actually the women of the northeast. They are flanking the river Brahmaputra. It's considered the red river because it's heavily silted. It's considered the river of sorrow. And this is exactly what's happening now in a sister state, in Manipur. So this rinse, repeat, these cycles of fear and dismay, they continue. Through the last few years, this was part of an art project that I was working on, where I'm also homaging the farmers' protest. This next painting, which is in blue and white, is about the central states. It's Maharashtra, it's Madhya Pradesh, it's Bihar, it's Jharkhand. It's again about the migration where the Shravani started and people started leaving and going back to their home states. It's the women again, even in this piece, who hold the weight of our cities. The migrant women who come here and work. So we're not hurting them, we're breaking their backs with bricks and cement. Now I have to work on a third piece, which is going to be in green. The first piece, as you can see, is mostly in red and saffron. The next is mostly in blue. The next piece is going to be in green. And for that, I turned my attention back to Goa, because we worked in COVID together. That effort still continues 2 years in. The third piece is going to be in green. It's going to be representing my Finnish tricolor. And that piece is going to revolve around Goa and the southern states. And so what I want is, just like today, as messy as it is, we shouldn't wait for more atrocities, history to repeat itself when we come out. We must proactively come out, exercise our civic duty to come out on the streets every now and again. We don't need to sit at home and wait for the next rape, for the next medical crisis, for the next murder, for the next riot, for the next ethnic cleansing, for the next genocide, for us to come here. We have to come and do this time and time again. We have to brave the rain. We have to stand here and we have to keep doing this till things change. For now, we have a year. We have to vote peace and solidarity back into this city. And I hope you will join me, because the next piece of my art project, I have been at my wit's end to start, because I'm feeling so lost in inspiration. But seeing all of you here and seeing the community in Goa, the vibrant community in Goa, I'm sure I'll finish my piece and it'll be a homage to my country. So thank you for listening, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Parul. There is hope. As I said, Goa always leads in the path of peace. And we are here to support our sisters in Manipur to ensure that this peace happens. When we first heard saw the viral video of Manipur, we were really anguished, traumatized, and immediately we held meetings. We from Gatherd Azad sent out a press note, other organizations, and so many other organizations issued a letter of protest. And then what happened? Nothing. And we kept on hearing more and more cases of violence. And so we dashed a letter, all the citizens group dashed a letter to the asking for the Supreme Court to step in, because we had seen that the central government had failed. Our PM was quiet for several months. There was nothing spoken about it. We didn't know what action was being taken. So all the women's organizations all over the country petitioned to the Chief Justice, Supreme Court, to please act. And yes, the Supreme Court has heard the petition. Now, I call upon Advocate Norma Alvarez to give us the latest on what the gist of the Supreme Court order and the progress we have made in seeing that there are some steps to stop this violence and ensure peace.
Madam, good action. Madam, that good. That on.
A video recording which went viral of women being paraded naked in Manipur to alert the nation to the atrocities taking place in Manipur. एक वीडियो जे गेले त्यांना आमकां सगळ्यांक मणिपूर कितें जाता. So the government, both at the center and the state, did very little to stop the burning of homes, to stop the violence,
of places of worship, particularly churches, and the killing of tribal people, which has continued from 4th May 2023. Conflict किधर चले? The conflict between the Meitei and the Kuki tribes in Manipur came from a direction of the High Court to the state government to expeditiously begging consider whether Meitei should become part of the scheduled tribes. These scheduled tribes असताना थोडे facilities असतात, किती privileges मिळतात आणि ते Meitei ते चोरशी रॅली असते, इन्फा ते सकल असते आणि ते ट्राइब्स गोयल असते, त्यांना ती वचन राहिले की फॉरेस्ट असतात. So they wanted scheduled caste status, scheduled tribe status. Cookies were opposed to it. कितने वर्ष झाले इंडिपेंडेंस होऊन आम्हीच ते शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब आता कित्याक गेलो आणखी तांकां जाय. And the Kuki tribes took out a protest march when they were attacked by the Meitei. Then now all hell broke loose, violence started, and day by day violence escalated. Government was silent. But that is not enough to stop riots, burning, women being raped. You cannot do normal police work. But thankfully, the Supreme Court swung into action when 10 petitions were filed before it by citizens and by citizen groups. What were they asking? They asked for effective security measures to stop the violence, measures to protect the women, medical aid, food, nutrition in the relief camps. There were a total of 10 writ petitions. Speaking on the issue of violence to women, the rape and humiliation, it is not just a beating, it is humiliating. Speaking on this, the court said, we are deeply disturbed by the visuals and we express our anguish at the manner in which women have been subjected to grave acts of sexual violence. And again they said in another paragraph, using women as instruments for perpetuating violence is not acceptable in a constitutional democracy. To use women, because teachers nobody kalta, one tribe against another tribe, but you use women. It is an assault on the constitutional values of dignity, personal liberty, and autonomy of women. Women are autonomous. Supreme Court is saying, value the dignity, liberty, and autonomy of women, all of which are protected as core fundamental rights in the Constitution. Then the court added, and here I item right, mobs, large groups, mobs commonly resort to sexual violence against women, believing that they will escape punishment for their crimes if they are members of a large group. That chinta, sagle ami asa kona kartele. So when we are a mob, we get courage to attack women. They also use sexual violence to send a message of subordination to the community the women or survivors belong to. So we send a message, boy, I'm superior, humiliated. The court also expressed concern at the delays in medical examination of the victims and the survivors of rape. Delay. If you delay, crucial evidence is lost and the perpetrators of violence those who commit the violence, they go scot-free. You don't take immediate DNA samples, you don't take immediate forensic evidence, the case will fall apart. And the court therefore said, it is the bounden duty of the state, in fact, its foremost duty, spoiler duty state they are, to prevent people from committing such reprehensible violence and to protect those women who are the targets of violence. So the Supreme Court has expressed a lot of anguish at what is happening in Manipur. Now it asked the central government and the state governments for details about what they have gathered. Kide information to gather because the petitions came in June and from May 4th the violence is going on. The court was shocked to learn that there were 6,253 FIRs filed. You know what is an FIR? First information report. Can कसले तरी violence जाता, you file an FIR. 6,253 incidents, and there were only 7 arrests made. Thousands of FIRs. They said that there were 11 specifically on women, but only 7 arrests were made. Now the government said that they were taking steps to recall the High Court direction which had caused the problem. The violence started because of a High Court direction. So government said, "Ami kidatari court proceedings to recall that High Court order." It also said that they had done the following. Armed police force were deployed in Manipur. Flag marches were held. Peace meetings were held. Helicopters and drones to monitor the situation. Relief camps were being opened. And the state told the Supreme Court the violence has stopped. But the petitioners contested this claim. The petitioner said, no, violence is continuing. Now the court was concerned about 3 main things. Firstly, the court was concerned at the delays in investigating the FIRs and the small number of arrests. 6,000 FIRs, only 11 arrests. No tak meona, you cannot find, you cannot pursue. What are you doing? Secondly, the court was concerned that sufficient arrangements must be made to protect lives and property in Manipur. Houses are burning, churches are being destroyed, people have no place to stay, all are come to refugee camps. And the third thing the court was very concerned about is that medical care must be provided to people in the relief camps, and it asked the central government to make arrangements for Medicare at army hospitals, private hospitals, wherever, see that people get medical relief. On the 7th of August, it said it was not satisfied with what the state government and the central government had done so far, and it issued a number of directions, some of which I will say to you. Firstly, it formed a committee of 3 former High Court judges. One was a former Chief Justice, 2 others were High Court judges, former High Court judges, to inquire into the violence which had occurred. They told the committee, you have to meet all the survivors and their families. You have to meet people in the relief camps. You have to ensure that there is free and comprehensive medical care for the victims. You have to find psychological care for the victims. People traumatized. They don't know what to do. So psychological assistance must be given to them. Court said suicide prevention services prevention services. They set example conditions in the relief camps, that there are clean rations, adequate rations, give essential products like soap, toiletries, sanitary pads, free pregnancy tests, and also speedy payment of compensation to victims of violence. There are different schemes that there are. There's some under Assam, there's something under the central government. Give money quickly as possible. Don't delay. But the primary concern remains the error and the slow progress. Now today, there are 42 special investigating teams of police in Manipur in the different districts. They have been asked to examine and process 6,000 plus FIRs. 42 special investigating teams. The court was not satisfied that they will do a good job. So the court has appointed its own officer, a person named Shri Gatherd Azad, who the court has got confirmation. And it has told this gentleman to monitor and supervise the investigation, which must be concluded in a time-bound manner. Lastly, the court has told both the committee, the three judges, ex-judges committee, and Mr. Gatherd Azad to report its findings to the Supreme Court. Send your findings to Supreme Court within 2 months. It said it will consider other regulations, including shifting trials out of Manipur so that there is proper justice done to people of Manipur. These are all the Supreme Court has done, being concerned about what is happening in Manipur. We women in Goa, we are troubled by one more thing. Why are we not hearing our president, constitutional head of the union? Why are we not heard anything? We are sure she feels anguish like us. She is a woman. She is a tribal woman coming with a political background. She is not some woman in the field who cannot speak. Why are we not hearing our president? So there is a paper around. We have asked for an appointment with the president when she comes to visit Goa from 22nd to 24th August. Please, yeah. We have asked for an appointment to meet her, and we want to say, please move the government to do things more than drag down. We hope that the words of the president will at least push the government into more action so that peace and justice, both of them, come to Manipur.
Thank you, Norma. Detailan सगळे एक्सप्लेन केले आणि जरी सुप्रीम कोर्ट डिरेक्शन्स दिला की एफआयआर रजिस्टर जावपाक जाय, स्पीडी इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन जावपाक जाय, रेप कॉम्पेन्सेशन जावपाक जाय. आमकां अनुभव आसा गोंयांत आमी बायलांचो केसीस घेता हें जायना. पुलिसार घेतात एफआयआर तर रजिस्टर करपाक जाय जाल्यार आमकां फावटी मारचें पडटा आनी ते केन्ना केन्ना एफआयआर रजिस्टर एफआयआर रजिस्टर जावूच ताजे एविडन्स कलेक्शन जायना आनी मागीर ते चार्जशीट सारके जायना. तेन्ना ते चार्जशीट कोर्टाकूच पावना आनी कोर्टाक पावतकूच आमी वर्स परस कोर्टाचे केस करता. आमचे मदें हांगा खुबशीं रेप विक्टिम्स आवयो, ल्हान भुरग्यांची आवयो आसा आनी तांचो अनुभव असो आसा. हांगा मुद्दम आयला कित्याक रेप विक्टिमाक जस्टीस मेळपाकूच जाय. कायद्यान आसा रेप कॉम्पेन्सेशन मेळपाक जाय. आमचे कडेन एक केस आसली जे 9th स्टँडर्डान भुरगे आसले तेजेर बलात्कार जालो. आतां 4 वर्सां जालीं तेजी केस आजून सोंपोवंक ना आनी ताका कॉम्पेन्सेशनूय दिवंक ना. ताका स्कूल मिस पडले, ताका SSC एग्जाम करपाचे असले ताका मदत जाय आशिल्ले ताका ट्युशनाक जाय आसले ते कॉम्पेन्सेशन मेळना सो जरी तर कायद्यान आसले की हे जावपाक जाय ते जावपाक जाय आमी पळयता ॲट ग्रावंड जायना आनी म्हणून पब्लीक प्रेशर आमी घालपाकूच जाय आनी जेन्ना गोंयांत बायलांचेर अत्याचार जाता आमी एकठांय येवन आवाज काडटा गोंयांतूय न्हू देशभर जेन्ना हातरास जालो आमी रस्त्यार येयली जेन्ना निर्भयाचो केस जालो आमी परत रस्त्यार येयली जेन्ना बिल्कीस बानूची केस जाली आमी परत रस्त्यार येयली कित्याक सरकाराचेर प्रेशर घालपाक जे कानुनान आमचे कमी पडला ते मातशे घट करपाक निर्भया केस जालो तेन्ना सेक्शन आयपीसीचे घातले स्टॉकिंग म्हणजे बायलांचे फाटल्यान कोण लागलो जाल्यार तो एक कलम घातलो डिसरोगाचे सेक्शन घातले ओके आता ह्या मणिपूर केसान डिसरोगाचो सेक्शन लागू जावपाक जाय आनी वॉयरिझम जे बायलांक रागणे करता आनी हो बी सेक्शन लागू जाय सो कायद्यान आमचे खुबशे प्रोविजन आसा पूण तेचे इम्प्लिमेंटेशन जायना आनी तेचे इम्प्लिमेंटेशन there is no political will to implement आणि हो रिझन आमचे बायलांचे क्रायमाचे म्हणून आमी आता एक निर्णय घेतला की आमी प्रेसिडेंटाक उलो मारतली की सुप्रीम कोर्टान इलेक्शन्स दिला तुम्ही सरकार काम करता ना ते तुम्ही पळोवचे आणि हे पेटिशन आमी ड्राफ्ट आमी प्रेसिडेंटाक दितली आमी मामा बायन सांगला की आमी एक अपॉइंटमेंट मागतली आमचे पेटिशन दिवपाक आता तेजे सिग्नेचर आमी कलेक्ट करतली पूण ताजे पयलीं हांव पेट्रिशा उलो मारता आमी प्रेसिडेंटाक कितें पत्र केला हे दाखोवपाक
Actually, I'm very happy it rained. Yeah, God sent this rain so that it brought us all together. Of course, Sabina was saying, Lagi hai, but God sent the rain. We're all together. Let us always be together. Let nobody divide us. Come whatever religion, caste, everything, Goa will be together. Yeah. Before I read out our appeal to the President of India for an appointment, I would like to quote, if there's time, a few excerpts from the masterpiece Night. You all might have read it, by Elie Wiesel, a survivor of the Holocaust, which applies to our sisters and our brothers in Manipur and to us in the rest of India today. I quote, and to those who were mutilated, raped, and those who died, we sense their presence at this moment more than ever. In 1945, during the genocide, a young Jewish boy asked his father, can this be true? This is 20th century, not the Middle Ages. Who would allow such crimes to be committed? How could the world remain silent? They all know but remain silent. We swear never to remain silent whenever and wherever human beings endure suffering and humiliation. We must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere when human lives are endangered and human dignity is in jeopardy. National borders and sensitivities become irrelevant. Wherever men and women are persecuted because of their race, religion, or political views, that place at the moment becomes the center of the universe. This is why, friends, we have gathered here today to fight the fight. We may win, we may lose, but if we don't fight, we have already lost. I read out the petition now to the governor, to the president. We hope that, I think we should get an appointment. After all, she's a woman. All we women are going to ask for an appointment, and we should get it. I don't see why we should be refused. To Srimati Draupadi Murmu, President of India, Rashtrapati Bhavan, New Delhi, subject appeal to stop violence in Manipur, ensure justice and peace. Honorable Madam, the violence in Manipur still continues unabated more than 3 months, with reports of horrific sexual violence against women. We are pained and angry at the ghastly crimes parading women naked, sexually torturing and killing them in some cases. Using mass rape as a weapon to settle scores against the community, besides other forms of violence, including usage of arms, indicates that administration of the state and central government completely failed to protect women and were complicit in dividing communities. This has resulted in gross human rights violation on a large scale, affecting children, students, senior citizens, women and men. There has been large-scale displacement, disruption in education, medical emergencies and untold miseries. Our hope lies in the Supreme Court and the President of India to bring normalcy and peace in the state. While the Supreme Court has issued directions and monitoring the situation, we urge you to use your constitutional authority to give directions to the government to fast-track the process. We have gathered at Azad Maidan today to express our solidarity and raise our collective voices for justice and peace. We seek your appointment on your visit to Goa, 22nd to 24th August, to have a heart as women from different communities to express our deep concern about safety of women in the country, need for communal harmony, and discuss the steps needed to make systems work for justice and peace. Together, we can make a difference to heal and make our country a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. We look forward to your positive response. Thank you.
So, we have a petition and we are collecting signatures, and yes, we want to heal the world. We have sisters over here who will be singing Heal the World, and while we play